A lot of older realtors will never
Mm,
go door knocking, like
right,
never.
right. You can learn something new every day in real estate. There's no shortage of free resources.
Repeating your goals to your friends, seeing it up in your office.
Yeah.
I might not spend as much time revising it all the time, but I really try to emphasize. I think goals are, if you don't have a roadmap to where you want to go, you're
Yeah.
probably going to be lost.
What is going on YouTube today? I am super excited to have my good friend and brother in Tom Ferry, Avi Becker, on the channel today. I actually met Avi, I think a couple years ago now. We share the same real estate coach. Shout out to Patrick Ferry. And so Avi and I had connected at a Tom Ferry real estate summit, and now every Tom Ferry event we go to, we hang out, we have a good time. And so I finally got him on the channel today to talk about how Avi went from selling one house in his first year in real estate to selling $29 million in volume in 2022. You guys, that's like $29 million houses my buddy here, Avi, sold. So, Avi, thanks so much for being on today. We are going to have a good little chat. Give us a little introduction about yourself. You're in Santa Barbara, right? Give us the laydown.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, V. I really appreciate everything you do
Of
and the amazing
course.
content that you create, and I'm super
Awesome.
blessed to be a part of it. Okay, a little bit about me. My name's Avi. I'm 27 years old. I live in beautiful Santa Barbara, California. I was originally raised in Boulder, Colorado, and I moved out here to go to UC Santa Barbara. I knew I wanted to, have a fun career. I wanted to make money. I wanted to have freedom and flexibility. So I thought I was going to get into tech sales and do some kind of commission job when I graduated. I applied to like 5 tech companies for sales, rejected from all of them, like multiple rounds of interviews, rejected. I was a trainer at a gym in college, and one of my clients worked in real estate, and I was kind of desperate. My options, the one job that I got an offer from was economy rent a car. So I was like, either I can work at economy rent a car, or I can hit up my buddy and my client about real estate and maybe learn what that's about. So I was super blessed and fortunate to have a great mentor who got me into the business, but it was not easy going. Like you said, my first year was just brutal. And I think that's a thing that I really try to harp on a lot of younger realtors that I mentor, people that are having questions about the business. Is it's one of those businesses that it looks so glamorous, fun, lucrative on those TV shows and on Netflix, but man, is it a tough go from the beginning. And it's really have to have patience,
Mhm.
longevity, and mindset to get you through those initial tough periods.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. So from trying to get a tech sales job to you were a coach at a gym and you had a client who was in real estate, and you're just like, "Hey, let me tack on. Can I learn this from you?" How did that work? How did you approach that person and kind of get under his wing?
Great question. So I came from a place of value where I first asked him, we were friends. So I was like, can I just, go buy you a beer and ask you some questions about real estate? I had been doing some social media marketing for the gym and for some other people. And I knew that social media was kind of a big thing. And I was getting into real estate too. This was back in 2018 when I was graduating college. And I said, hey, I'll work for you. I would love to just learn the ropes of real estate, and I'll help you grow your social media. Like, I know how to post on Facebook. I know I could film some videos for you and post them on Instagram. He didn't even, I don't know, he had an Instagram account, but it didn't have a big following. So I was kind of, instead of just being like, hey, let me learn from you, I was like, hey, I'm going to give you a value proposition trade. I even, negotiated a very minimal, like little hourly wage. And I said, I'm going to
Mhm.
learn from him and also bring a lot of value. And when I was there, we were going at properties, touring them. I was just trying to listen to every time he talked on the phone with a client, but I was also doing his social media strategy. And I tell people that's a good way to start, is to try to bring some value. If you're trying to join a team, even offer to
Yep.
work for free. It's really hard to get in, and you need to have someone good to teach you the ropes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so good. My most successful realtors on my team came to me like, "Hey, can I work for you for free? What can I do for you to learn this knowledge that you have that has the potential to make me millions of dollars a year?" Right? So that's awesome. Avi, a lot of realtors struggle to get over the hump of just their first deal in real estate. Tell us how you got your first few deals and how you got your foot in the door, because,
Yeah.
only one house in your first year. How'd you do that? And then where did it take off for you?
So I was doing all the things that I thought were going to help me close the sale fast, cold calling, working open houses,
Mhm.
and I was draining all my savings. I was literally eating ramen noodles. I had negative money in the bank, and I was
Mhm.
desperate. So out of that desperation, I got kind of creative. I actually started to hit up people on Craigslist that had like multi-unit apartments, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm a realtor. I will show the apartments for you. I'll help you fill these apartment buildings."
Wow.
if you'll pay me a commission for every tenant I got. And so I negotiated. I thought it was such a good, I thought I was like, oh, I'm such a good negotiator with this one, like, 15 or 20 unit apartment complex building. For every tenant that I secured, I got like a $200 check,
Hmm.
and they're paying, like 2 grand a month. So it was just like just like off the top. And I was posting on Craigslist for them. I was like kind of creating an optimized post. And I would also say, if you want to find out other apartments, reach out to me, or if you need help with other houses. And so I would something that helped me maybe pay my rent. My rent was like $900 at the time. And
Hmm.
that, if I get a couple land lease deals, and one girl that I met, she ended up not leasing at the complex. And that was in, January or February. And in November, she ended up being my very first client because I followed up with her. I stayed in
There
touch with
you
her.
go.
And I sold her this new construction property that was kind of out of my market and out of my area. It was like $515,000 sale. My commission check was like right under 10 grand. I owed a bunch of money to, pay back people. And I really thought, I was so grateful and just so relieved that, because I was doing everything right, open houses, cold calling. And one thing I
Hmm.
realized as a realtor is you really have to learn the skill set, understand the market knowledge, start to create a personal brand long before your bank
Mm.
account is going to really start to fill up. You have to be a successful realtor before you're successful on paper.
Yeah, a lot of people message me all the time, and I'm sure you get messages too on, how do you build confidence as a realtor? How do you gain that market knowledge? How do you build yourself up to do that first deal? Because I want to hear what you would say. I would say, well, let's hear what you would say, and then I'll say what I would say.
Yeah, I would say you have to really come at it from a novice rookie like mindset. Like when you're learning a new subject in school, the best way to accelerate quickly is to study, is to surround yourself with books and podcasts and knowledge that's going to help you absorb more knowledge and absorb more understanding, and also surround yourself with people that really know the subject material. So for me,
Mm.
that was, I read so many real estate books, listened to so many real estate podcasts, watched so many Tom Ferry videos,
Hmm.
and I would surround myself and every week I would try to take a different realtor that I respected out to lunch just to pick their brain. People in my office, people in other offices, I always paid for the lunch, even though I literally had no money. And it was like, damn, I'm like spending like $50 to buy this person lunch. And like now it means I'm having to eat ramen noodle and I can't even take myself out for my own lunch. But I was like, I want to absorb all the knowledge. And I was just obsessed with trying to figure out what it takes. So I think you really have to lean on other people, other resources, other books, because it's one of those things, it's a process. You're not just going to become a
100%.
real estate expert overnight. But yeah, what would you
Yeah.
give for your advice?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a really big one is always learning, right? You can learn something new every day in real estate. There's no shortage of free resources to build yourself up as an agent. But I
For
think
sure.
just getting out there and doing that first transaction, when I hire new people on my team and they're like, well, I need this, 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 and this. No, you don't. You need to go out there, have conversations with people, especially if you have a good mentor like you or I would walk our people through a transaction. Then all you need to do is find the person who says, yes, I want to buy or sell. And, just get out there
Mm,
and do it. Because the more that you procrastinate over, like, well, I need to get this done and I need to make sure that I have a CRM and I need to have all my marketing in order. You need to do your first deal, gain that experience, and then that's where the confidence comes from, is from doing it for sure.
totally. And one thing I feel like that you'll learn in real estate from, once you start to get going, if you're just kind of new, is that it's actually the transaction itself. Once you have a client under contract, it takes negotiation, it takes no wherewithal and understanding.
Hmm.
But
Sure.
to get someone to trust you to initially, use you as the realtor, that's really difficult. You need to know what to say, you need to know how to convert, you need to know how to set appointments and convert appointments, and you need to have the market knowledge and understanding to really be able to, answer their questions and make them feel comfortable to buy
Hmm.
a large asset, maybe one of the biggest purchases they've ever made, using your guidance and expertise.
That's super interesting, Avi, because I almost say something different to my guys. And I think it's because we have different markets and different types of clients. But I like to tell my guys because I know you work with a lot of investors and we
Mhm.
work with a lot of everyday, like mid range homeowners. We're circle prospecting. We're just calling people up out of the blue, asking if they want to sell their house. And so I tell my guys, like, if you can just have a normal, regular human interaction, like, yes, have your market knowledge. You want to know what's going on in your community. You don't want to sound dumb on the phone. If you can listen to them and you can hear what they want and just communicate with them like a normal person, you're beating a lot of realtors who are coming at them with commission, salesy breath, right?
Very true. For
Mm-hmm.
sure. I think the best realtors like you know, like on a lot of people that we're friends with, they're not salespeople. They're really amazing empaths, amazing
Yes.
listeners, problem solvers, high level networkers, and people, you know, people. And I think
Yeah.
that like it's we're me, like I try to honestly, I follow you and I feel like you are leading the charge and I'm trying to be part of it, but we're kind of rewriting the script on what a
Yeah.
realtor is meant to be. We're content creators. We don't have the cheesy name tags and like the like, hey, I'm just trying to get a commission out of you. Like we're rewriting the script. And so I think that's a great thing. When you're young, you know that, you know, if you work with the right people and if you learn from the right groups, you know, the whole Tom Ferry organization is really a new wave of realtor. So I would just say
Hmm.
like, you know, having great support and getting good knowledge, even from like your YouTube channel, if, you know, people can't pay for coaching yet, is a really great way to start, because the realtor that's going to win in the new age is not the same as the realtors of the past.
That is so good right there. And there are so many ways that we can expand on this. My mind is just like psh, right now. And you and I were at the Tom Ferry Elite Retreat in January or January, February, right?
Mhm.
And Phil Jones was talking about, you know, all the realtors are using the same script from the 80s and 90s. Let's actually talk to our clients, let's gain context, and let's figure out how to solve their problem based on that, right? Avi, you were 24 when you started, you sold one
Yes.
house, you gained momentum, you sold your first one to one of your tenants that you were helping. How did you scale that up to selling $29 billion in real estate just a couple years later?
Yeah. The year after that, I had a lot of momentum going. So that year, even though I only sold one house, I had a lot of momentum from meeting people at open houses. You know,
Mhm.
in my market, sometimes, you know, if I meet someone at open house, it's 9 to 12 months until they're actually ready to buy. So the
Yep.
follow-up systems, I did 22.5 million that next year because I really leveraged the Tom Ferry network. I learned how to do expireds and I sold a bunch of
Mhm.
expired homes and just really started to get confident being able to say, you know, when you're young and when you're in real estate or any business, you're not going to get referrals because you don't have a track record and you don't have a book of past clientele. So you need to be really confident and really, you know, hungry to go get brand new business, to talk to people
Yep.
that have never met you, never heard of you. And you need to be able to break down the wall and say, hey, I'm here to help if you need my services, and explain your value and solve problems at a high level. So I really started to do that with expireds. I started to convert my open houses, and I kind of had a breakout year where I really felt confident in my sales ability and my real estate ability as well. So yeah, I went from one
Mhm.
house, 500K in volume, to like, I think it was like 16 or 17 transactions. I double ended a property for like 2.65, you know, rep both buyer and seller because it was an expired and it was an online lead as I started to kind of build up my business. My social media traction started to, you know, work a little bit and people would recognize me a little bit more. But man, I mean, if you think about, you know, it took me basically like a year and a half or 2 years to really be making good money in real estate. And that was working
Mhm.
open house weekends. That
Mhm.
was getting rejected hundreds and thousands of times.
Mhm.
Like it's people, I just feel like it's one of the detrimental things about real estate being so glamorized these days. It's just, it's not as pretty and easy as a lot of those shows make it seem. So I just like to be really straight up with people watching, with people, you know, who want to get into real estate. It's an amazing business. I wouldn't want to do anything else. And I feel like you feel the same way, but it's
Mhm.
just not, you can't just like become Selling Sunset from watching one episode.
Real quick, if we haven't met yet, I'm a 22-year-old real estate agent and investor here in Seattle, Washington. I do a lot of content creating across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, but I spend a lot more time right now selling, buying, and wholesaling real estate here in Washington, and I would love to connect with you. If you have seller opportunities that you've prospected for and you don't quite know what to do with them or approach a situation, I do joint venture partnering on wholesale and retail deals here in Washington. It's really simple. If you want to partner up with me and get a deal done, I've got a link in my link tree down below for you to send me the information on the deal. My team and I will look over it within 24 hours and reach out to see what we can do to help. I'm all about creating professional relationships in our markets. And if you're not in Washington, I've got friends all across the country who do the same thing that I do. So if you have a deal, send me a message and I will be happy to connect you with the Vena of your market, if you will. Just wanted to put that out there. I'm open to helping you close more deals. So check that out if you've got a good deal you need help with, and let's get back to the video.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes real hustle. What was a day in your life as when you were like in the thick of it, building this momentum in your business? How
Yeah.
much were you focusing on learning? How much were you prospecting? What were you doing day to day?
So huge thing is I'd always like wake up, and I still is now, I try to own the morning. I wake up, I work out, I eat good food that's healthy. And I do like affirmations. I used to like remember to be like in my shower, cold shower, just to get the mindset right. And I would just be thinking, saying, repeating, like, I'm the best realtor in Santa Barbara. I would say that like 15, 20 times. I did it this morning too, because I kind of just needed it. And back then it's a lot harder to believe that you're a good realtor when you have no sales, no history, no success stories. So, that helped me a lot getting my mind right. But I would just spend a lot of days prospecting. When I got a little burnt out, I would take a break. I'd watch Tom Ferry videos. I'd read. I'd listen to podcasts. And then, I was door knocking in the afternoons, a lot of times, even just saying, hey, I have a client looking in the neighborhood, if you know of anyone who's selling. And I ended up selling like one of my second or third houses I sold for like 1.45 million.
Second or third house that you door knocked, or
second or third house I ever sold.
Transaction.
Yeah, I think it was my third.
That'd be cool if you got a multi-million-dollar sale on your third door knock.
But I was door knocking the neighborhood. I met this guy, and he was renting, and I was door knocking on behalf of one of my team's other buyers, trying to find him something maybe off market. And he's like, "Wait, you're door knocking to try to find your client a house? Like, can you like help us find a house?"
Wow.
So and
There
I mean, man, people don't like to door knock, and people will give it a bad name. And it's not glamorous, but I was just kind of willing to do whatever it took, because I just had no plan B, because I was like, either it's that or economy rent a car, because no one else is giving me a goddamn job.
Right.
But yeah.
No, door knocking's the stuff. I door knock all the time. I love it.
I know you do.
I think it's so much more effective than cold calling.
Yeah. But it's hard.
That's another video.
Yeah, for sure.
Avi, what value does a new or a young realtor provide that what's your advantage over a 20-year veteran?
Good question. I think it's really good to emphasize that and really understand that as a young realtor, there are some disadvantages that you have. You don't have a big book of business. You're not going to have referrals, but younger realtors are much more savvy on social media. That's a huge one. And social media is really now a massive pillar for most successful realtors. As young realtors as well, you don't have as, many, I think, limiting beliefs and as many like bad habits that I see a lot of older realtors have, where a lot of older realtors will never go door knocking, like never. They've been in the business a long time. So I think, just having that beginner's mindset and having like, hey, I'm here to learn every day. I'm here to improve. I'm not going to be shameful, or like, I'm not going to be embarrassed if I have to door knock, cold call, do the hard activities. I think that gives you a huge leg up. And also another thing too, is we have more time as younger people. We don't have families. We don't have, obligations. You can do 2 open houses every week if you want. And I think it's one of those things where it's not easy. And I remember seeing my friends, like they had like, stable jobs, making 60, 70, 80K a year right out of college. They were going to like do trips on the weekend. And I was like, damn, I'm working open houses every weekend. But I kept the vision, and I, now obviously have a lot more freedom and a lot more flexibility than a lot of my friends do, who took the kind of more stable job route.
I love that. Yeah. That's super clear. I mean, it's really clear that, you just put in hustle and you saw the reward, right? Your income is in direct proportion to the value you provide to the market, and door knocking and helping people find rentals and educating yourself to be the knowledge broker and the real estate advisor to the community. That is clearly how you built up and, was able to sell all that real estate. Well, my next question for you is, so you've been a realtor for 4 years, right?
4 years. Yeah.
Is this your end game? Do you want to be the 20, 30-year realtor for life?
I think I'm really grateful, because I kind of came into this with kind of a different mindset than maybe other people did. I read the book, The 4-Hour Workweek, when I was in college, and that book like rocked my world, where the author, Tim Ferriss, he's traveling the world for a whole year with his business on autopilot, VAs, people that he's hired, and he's making incredible passive income. So he gets to travel and explore. And when I thought of what I wanted to do when I was getting rejected from these jobs, because initially I was like, maybe I'll get into a startup and I'll like get a bunch of equity and then I'll just cash it out. But I'd always thought it'd be cool to make passive income, because I was like, man, if you can make $10 an hour, you can make $5 while you sleep. The $5 is almost even worth more. And so that's what I really was drew me to real estate, on top of the fact that you get to be your own boss, that there's no one who can tell you how much money you can make. And so I got into the real estate investing side as I was learning real estate as well. And my end game is to own a bunch of investment properties so I can be a great dad someday, coach my kids' lacrosse teams, do charity work, maybe do speaking or motivational work, or I kind of want to just have options where if I
Yeah.
want to sell real estate, I can, but if I don't want to, I don't have to. And so I think we're going to touch on this later, but I bought my first income property a little bit over a year ago. And actually that plus, some of the team that I've been growing on my real estate business, I'm going to do a whole year of travel after Thanksgiving this year and kind of do my own 4-hour work week vibe where I'm going to have my passive income from my Airbnb and maybe hopefully a second property by then, as well as my team going to be kind of be more automated, and I'll, work when I can and work when I have the time. But I'm going to do like a full year of travel because I think I came into real estate being like, I don't want to be the 80-year-old at an open house like on a Sunday, but
Yep.
I'm gonna
Respectfully,
learn
right?
respectfully. Yeah, no, if you want to do it. But I wanted to leverage my commissions and everything that I've learned to pick up deals and to be able to set myself up to have the freedom to do what I want. Because for me, I'm not a huge materialistic guy. Yeah, nice cars, cool watches they're nice, but to me, I'm optimizing my life, my business for is freedom and opportunities to do what I want to do, just like you do.
No, I love that. That aligns so well with that's like basically my same philosophy is
Yeah,
real estate is great. I love, being a realtor and serving my clients here in Seattle, but ultimately in the future and why I'm building my team too, so that we can keep serving the community, but also so that I have that freedom option choice, right? Like that's what my
yeah,
mentor Thatch, he talks about it all the time in his coaching program. We're always on, focus on your like, yes, work on your active income, but focus on your passive income channels so that you have that
totally.
option to work someday.
100%. And I think that in school, especially in modern colleges, they don't talk about this at all. Like they always talk about get good grades and get the highest possible starting salary you
Go to
can. But
college, get a real
yeah,
job, right?
and it's all about what's your salary, like how much can you work for. But think
Crazy.
about if you get injured, if something bad happens, life happens and you might get even fired or whatever. When you have real estate and you have passive income, yeah, stuff can happen there too, like you have to fix stuff up here and there, but that's stuff that's really more like that you can kind of bank on it more. Like for me, as as a realtor, some months we make an exorbitant amount of money because you have 3 or 4 closings, and sometimes you'll have 3 or 4 months where you don't make a dime on a commission.
Exactly.
But my Airbnb has really allowed me to kind of have a baseline stable income that's been really, really nice and has been able to take some pressure off, because I know I'm going to be making X amount of money back every month for my Airbnb. So I'm excited to get more of those because while it's awesome to sell a $3 million house, my little 1-bedroom downtown Airbnb is like my pride and joy because it's so beautiful. I do an hour or 2 hour week scheduling my cleanings and stuff like that. And it's just, it's churning.
That's great. That's so
Yeah.
awesome. How much emphasis and time do you put into goal setting for both your real estate business and your investing plans?
Oh, good question. Not as much as I should. I do business planning at the end of the year, and we have a big volume goal. I want to, me and Weston, my buyer's agent teammate, we want to sell 44 million this year. We're a little ways behind, but we'll see. And I want to get my second income property this year. But I really try to, one thing with Tom Ferry talks a lot about is like touching back on your vision and creating, really audacious, like unique, like where do you want to be in 1 year, 2 year, 5 years? And the thing that was a huge vision for me is to travel the world for a year. And I keep telling people about it. I keep, I'm like, even though I haven't booked the ticket yet, I know on December 1st, I was actually looking at tickets today. I'm going to go to Bali first for like 5 months. And like,
awesome.
I'm going to do it. Cause like,
that's
a
cool,
goal.
Man.
That's a vision. That's like, I got to do it now. Cause if not now, I'm never going to do it. So that's kind of like, I think like repeating your goals to your friends, seeing it up in your office, I might not spend as much time revising it all the time, but I really try to emphasize, I think goals are, if you don't have a roadmap to where you want to go, you're probably going to be lost.
No, 100%. That's so awesome. Yeah. Like I took a month off last year to go to the Philippines and I want to take a couple months off this year too. So I'm really glad to hear that you're going to do that whole year. I'm gonna get there maybe in a couple years, but that's
for sure you will.
That's so cool, man. And it really is key to, have your goals at your forefront. You don't have to spend a bunch of time, that is time is thinking about them every day and looking at your dream board and reading over your business plan daily. That is time that you're putting in, because if you don't have that plan, it's where do you go? And that's where I always tell people to start is, where is your business plan? how much money do you want to make this year? How many deals is that? What are you going to do every day to get those deals, right? It really is
For
a
sure.
formula. And we see so many agents fail because, they're not following the simple blueprint. They think it's going to be easy. They think it's going to be like selling sunset. So that's awesome. Avi, really appreciate having you on the podcast today. Really, really great nuggets that we've dropped today. And I feel like we could do a bunch more of little
For
back and
sure.
forth with you and I. What is your advice? Overall, you've given so much
Yeah.
advice so far, but what is your advice for new realtors looking to expand their business, build passive income someday? What can you say to the young people out there?
Okay, I'm gonna hopefully give people 3 takeaways to
Let's
walk
do
away
it.
from this video with that will really maybe help your career, help your trajectory. Number 1 is in real estate, a lot of things are out of our control. Sometimes a client will literally randomly cancel escrow, be like, actually, I don't want the house anymore. Sometimes, nobody shows up to your open house.
Yeah.
So I really want you to, in real estate and in whatever job you are, like focus on what you can control. And those are your habits, your routines, your mindset, the people you surround yourself with. So, thinking about getting a good night's sleep, working out, taking care of yourself, your mind, your body, meditating, eating right, like those are things that you can control. No matter what your clients tell you, no matter how many times you get rejected, I think if you build a good mindset, good habits, and good routines, it's going to make the hardships of real estate a little less hard. When someone totally, you have a deal you think is going to close and it totally goes sideways, if you've been meditating, if you feel like healthy, if you feel well rested, it doesn't sting quite as bad as when your rest of your life that you could kind of have more control over is out of whack. Number 2, I kind of touched on this briefly, but I was surrounding yourself with the right people. As a young realtor, if you're in it alone, you don't have a networking group, a mastermind group, a coaching network. Like Vena has literally brought me so much value, social media knowledge, teaching me about investing strategy. Like I learned so much from the people that I surround myself with. And I never, think about like, oh, like I'm older than her, or I'm, in a different market than her. I just want to learn from all these cool people that have a different background, and surrounding yourself with the good people and kind of being open to new ideas from those people that are different than you is super important. And then the third one is like we talked about before, like having that long-term vision, having that kind of long-term trajectory, and knowing that if you want to be a realtor, it's a long-term game plan. You're not going to make it overnight. And if you really want to be good at this, you have to stick with it for a while. So understanding where you want to be, where you're at right now, and figuring out a way to, get from point A to point B by, setting goals, thinking big, really understanding that it takes patience, it takes day in and day out hard work, because a lot of people that are interested in real estate might not honestly be for them. But if you have the patience, the understanding that it's a long play, if you do a couple of the other things we talked about, like there's no one that can tell you can't sell $100 million in real estate or be the best, biggest realtor in your market, because the sky's the limit in our
100%.
business, which is so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Your real estate license doesn't say that you can only sell 10 or 20 houses per year, right?
The best part of our business, and I always think about it, I'm like, damn, if we worked normal jobs and someone was like, Vena, you're so amazing, like I'm gonna say you're worth $100,000
I
this
couldn't
next
do
year.
it.
Just
I
like, what the
couldn't.
heck? Like, yeah.
Avi, you're awesome. Thank you for being on. You are totally going to crush that $44 million goal this year. Where can people find you?
Instagram, YouTube, everything, just at Avi Becker, AVIBCKER. And yeah, I would love to connect if people have questions, if people want to talk specifics, or if they just want to jump on a quick call. I'm always here to, give people a couple quick, tidbits of information and advice, because you have a lot of people that supported me, including you, V, and I'm grateful for you, dude. You're such an inspiration, and it's just so cool to see you do what you do at such a young age. I know you get that all the time, but like you're so ahead of the game, dude.
Appreciate it. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad we got to do this, and we'll definitely have some more stuff with Avi coming out. So drop in the comments below what you liked about this video, questions you have for Avi. Of course, go follow him on his YouTube channel and his Instagram. We'll flash up his stuff. But other than that, thanks so much, Avi. We'll see you in the next one.
CV, much love.